France is gone, the Low Countries are occupied, and Britain is the only thing standing between Hitler and total control of Western Europe. Hermann Göring walks into his commander's briefing and makes a promise. Give him 4 weeks and his Luftwaffe will destroy the Royal Air Force entirely. After that, the invasion can begin. What Göring doesn't know is that the RAF has already built something he can't see, and it's going to cost him everything. On paper, the numbers are brutal. The Luftwaffe brings roughly 2,500 operational aircraft into this fight. The RAF can muster around 700 fighters. German pilots carry combat experience from Spain, Poland, and France. Many RAF pilots are stepping into a war zone for the first time. Every senior German commander looks at those numbers and reaches the same conclusion. This ends fast. But the RAF has the chain-home radar network, and it breaks every calculation the Luftwaffe has made. A line of tall antenna towers runs along the British coastline, picking up incoming German aircraft while they're still over France. The moment a formation lifts off, operators are already tracking it. That information feeds into a command network built by Air Chief Marshal Hugh Dowding. Radar contacts reach a central room within about 2 minutes, and controllers plot them onto large map tables in real time. From the first radar blip to bombs falling, the RAF has roughly 20 minutes. The controller gets about 4 of those minutes to read the picture and get squadrons moving. So the RAF isn't scrambling blindly and hoping to find the enemy. Controllers direct pilots to the exact position of every incoming raid, with just enough time to get there. For the Luftwaffe, it feels like the RAF appears out of nowhere. German pilots fly into interceptions they can't explain, because from across the channel, they have no idea the warning system exists. The 2 planes doing most of that intercepting are the Spitfire and the Hurricane, and they aren't interchangeable. The Hurricane is steady and handles well at lower altitudes. It goes after the bombers, the Heinkel HE-111s and Dornier DO-17s, carrying the actual payload. The Spitfire is faster and more agile at altitude, built to hunt the Messerschmitt Bf-109 escorts flying above the bombers. The Spitfire also turns inside a 109 in a close dogfight, around 680 feet against the German fighter's 850, which means once the fight gets tight, the Spitfire holds the inside line and the 109 can't shake it. The 109 climbs faster, but by the time it reaches London, fuel is already critical. German fighters carry roughly 10 minutes of combat fuel over the city before they have to break off and head home, leaving their bombers exposed. The 2 British planes working as a combination, one hunting escorts and one hunting bombers, makes the RAF's fighter force far harder to neutralize than the raw numbers suggest. The Luftwaffe keeps stumbling over its own strategy. Göring shifts objectives without finishing the job on any of them. Radar stations take hits, then the raids move on before the damage becomes permanent. Port facilities get targeted, then the focus moves elsewhere. British aircraft factories take bombs, but production keeps running. No sustained pressure lands on any single point long enough to collapse it, and every time the Germans change course, the RAF gets a window to repair and recover. The system holds. Losses run heavy on both sides, but the RAF meets every major raid with organized resistance, and Göring's 4-week timeline starts looking like something he invented to impress Hitler at a dinner table. But a new problem is emerging that the radar network can't track and the controllers can't fix. By late August, the Luftwaffe finds the actual weak point. Not the planes, not the pilots, but the sector stations, the nerve centers where controllers sit with their headsets and talk squadrons onto incoming raids. Hit the runways and the RAF operates from grass strips. Hit the control rooms and the whole network goes dark. The Germans have finally worked out the difference, and the raids begin concentrating on those stations with a focus they never applied to anything else. The damage starts to show fast. German bombs shatter several stations, communications break down, and the RAF struggles to put organized groups of fighters into the air the way it could a month earlier. The pilot shortage is becoming critical faster than anything the repair crews can fix. Training a fighter pilot takes months. Building a Hurricane takes weeks. The men still flying are touching down between sorties and falling asleep in their cockpits before the ground crews can even reach them, and the experienced ones going down can't be replaced quickly enough to matter. Winston Churchill stands before Parliament and says never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few. He means it as tribute, but it's also an accurate description of exactly how thin the line has become at that precise moment. Then something shifts, and it has nothing to do with RAF tactics or Luftwaffe planning. On the night of August 24th, a German bomber crew drops their payload over London by accident, hitting a target they were never meant to hit. Churchill orders a retaliatory strike on Berlin within days. The physical damage to the German capital is limited, but the humiliation cuts deep. Hitler is furious, and he orders the Luftwaffe to stop hitting the airfields and start hitting London instead. Goering is willing. He believes breaking civilian morale will force Britain to the table faster than grinding down sector stations. So the weight of the campaign shifts onto the city, and the airfields get a reprieve they desperately need. The Blitz is brutal. London burns night after night, and the cost to the people inside it is devastating. But pulling the Luftwaffe off the airfields is the decision that saves Fighter Command. Repair crews work through every night they aren't being bombed. Control rooms come back online. Replacement pilots filter into the squadrons. The RAF that meets the Germans in early September is battered but functional in a way it wouldn't have been if the airfield campaign had continued for another 2 weeks. September 15th is when it breaks open. Goering sends his largest coordinated raid of the entire campaign, wave after wave crossing the Channel in a show of force designed to finish the fight. The RAF puts every available squadron into the air and meets them head-on. The interceptions are organized, sustained, and exactly what the system was built to deliver. The raid turns back with heavy losses. When Goering asks his fighter commanders how many Spitfires the RAF has left, one of them tells him the question doesn't have a comfortable answer. 2 days later, Hitler postpones Operation Sea Lion indefinitely. The invasion barges sitting in the Channel ports begin dispersing. The window has closed. The Luftwaffe didn't run out of aircraft. It ran out of time and certainty, which in this kind of campaign amounts to the same thing. The accidental bombs that fell on London didn't just trigger the Blitz, they handed the RAF the breathing room it needed to survive. One mistake changed the entire outcome. If that pattern sounds familiar, it should, because it wasn't the last time a single error unraveled a German campaign. Subscribe to the channel and check out the next video.